John Matthew Stafford, your beloved Detroit Lions quarterback since 2009. On one hand, he has broke every relevant Leo's quarterback statistic in franchise history. On the other, he has an overall record of 74, 90, and 1, with only 3 playoff appearances to speak of. He's as polarizing as they come here in the Motor City. But, love him or hate him, number 9 has been entrenched in Honolulu blue and silver since year 1 of the Obama administration. That is, until Saturday, when new GM Brad Holmes wasted no time in his first month on the job by shipping Stafford to La La Land. Be gone! For 2 first-round draft picks, a third, and the services of Jared Goff in a trade that rocked the National Football world. We'll discuss the blockbuster deal and what it means for the Lions going forward, coming up next. Also, is Jared Goff really the long-term answer at quarterback? Plus, we have an exclusive interview with new head coach Dan Campbell in a conversation you simply cannot miss. Grab some Baileys and hot cocoa, sit by the fireplace, and let us steer you away from the frigid Motown cold, because DSC starts right now! Recorded from the DSC studios in downtown Detroit, this is Detroit Sports Extreme! Here now is the voice of Detroit sports, Johnny Bakerstone! Woo! What a last couple of weeks here in the Motor City for your Detroit Lions. Outside, it's as cold as a Siberian snowstorm, but inside the Detroit Lions Allen Park headquarters, polar bears are pounding back summer shandies and wearing sunscreen as a slew of exciting moves have transpired that will melt the icicles off your nuts. In January alone, we've seen a new GM, a brand new coaching staff, and a new quarterback, as the Matthew Stafford era has officially come to an end. Greetings, Detroit, and welcome to DSE. Let's waste no time dancing naked around the fireplace and get right into it by kicking off our first annual Below the Belt segment, where my tag team partner in crime, Candy Copperfield, and myself battle it out mano a mano on the hottest and juiciest sports topics in Detroit. Below the Belt. Alright, for this segment, we will let senior DSE correspondent Herb Gentry moderate the proceedings. Getting demoted from the sidelines to the update desk, eh, Gentry? But I'll tell you what, you age like a fine wine, Herbie. You are looking awfully spry early in this new year. And to think, you're only 15 short years away from retirement.
Oh yeah, thanks, Johnny. Happy New Year's to you too. Okay, topic number 1. The Lions just sent Matthew Stafford packing for California way as they traded him to the Los Angeles Rams for a 2022 and 2023 first-round pick, a 2021 third-round pick, and the services of quarterback Jared Thomas Goff. Goff still has 4 years and $134 million remaining on his contract. First and foremost, did the Lions get enough in return for Stafford? We'll start with you, Johnny.
Oh, absolutely. There have been rumors floating around out there that the Panthers offered Detroit this year's number 8 overall pick and Washington offered the 19th pick. But 2 first-round picks and a third is absolutely exceptional value for an aging 33-year-old quarterback. We did say on the show a few weeks back we thought the Leos would get at least one first-rounder for Stafford, but hell, not two. GM Brad Holmes was able to get the additional first-round pick because of the Goff contract, and although I admit it's alarmingly high, there is a caveat.
Is there, Johnny? Is there? Goff turned the ball over 17 times last season, third most in the NFL, and he has regressed every season since 2018. He couldn't even start over an AAF quarterback in the playoffs against Seattle. And don't give me any excuses about his frozen pussy thumb. I would have rather taken Carolina or Washington's offer, have 2 top 10 picks in this year's draft, and not be strapped with Goff's albatross of a contract.
Candy, candy, candy. It's about acquiring future assets. But I've seen your stock portfolio, and that's certainly not something you know anything about. And I think you're forgetting that Goff's money is guaranteed in only the first 2 years of his contract, you blind booze bag. So you bring in a former number 1 overall pick, maybe a change of scenery helps him, and you try to make it work. And if it doesn't, all you do is simply cut ties with him after 2 years. If he hits, great. But if he doesn't, you can just release his ass. And I don't think this puts you out of the running to draft a quarterback if you want to. It's all about options. You were not winning with Matthew Stafford anyway, and now you get a quarterback who was a lot younger at only 26 years old.
Johnny, if Sean McVay could not fix Goff, the Detroit Lions certainly can't. Goff went from 32 touchdowns in 2018 to 28 in 2019 to only 20 last season. In his last 31 regular season appearances, he has committed 38 fucking turnovers. 38, Johnny. That's the second most in the NFL. He has lost all of his confidence, all of his mojo. He is lost out there. I admit the draft compensation is exceptional, but I want nothing, and I mean nothing, to do with Jared Goff.
We're gonna have to agree to disagree on Goff, Candy. He is worth the 2-year reclamation project. Let's not forget, he has led the Rams to 2 division titles, 2 playoff wins, 2 more than Matthew Stafford, and has an NFC championship and Super Bowl appearance to his name. The Lions obviously have some work to do surrounding him with better wide receivers, but let's see that through this offseason first.
Kiss my ass, Johnny.
Suck it, Copperfield!
Okay, guys, let's move on to topic number 2. As you all know, the Lions have a new head coach in Dan Campbell, a new offensive coordinator in Anthony Lynn, and a new defensive coordinator in Aaron Glenn. Are these 3 the right men for the job?
Well, Herb, it's foolish to pretend I know this answer with 100% certainty, but I will say this, I do like the hires. Campbell is a rah-rah guy. He's a good leader of men that will get the team fired up on game day. He's a true player's coach. His players have said in years past they will run through a wall for him. This is a complete 180 hire compared to that of Matt Patricia, and folks, that's a good thing. We said on the last show, Campbell's lack of head coaching experience, excluding a cup of coffee with the Miami Dolphins, and the fact that he's not really an X's and O's guy is a deterrent. But he has surrounded himself with a solid coaching staff around him.
Has he, Johnny? Although Aaron Glenn has been a hot name of late, he has no defensive coordinating experience. He was just the defensive backs coach in New Orleans, and Anthony Lynn just famously flamed out as head coach of the Chargers. In terms of in-game clock management, the guy couldn't even set his own watch.
Well, Lynn did struggle with in-game clock management as head coach of the Chargers, but that certainly will not be his calling card here in Detroit, Candy. I think this coaching staff will be very, very run-heavy, and with a good play-action quarterback like Jared Goff, why not? And as OC of Buffalo in 2016, Lynn's Bills led the NFL in both rushing yards per game and rushing yards per attempt. He also produced top 10 passing offenses during his time in LA, including the number 1 passing offense in 2017. So Lynn has proven he can both run and pass. Many argued he should not have been fired in the first place in LA. Plus, the team won its last 4 games to end the season. He also likes to feature the tight end a lot, and with TJ Hawkinson coming off a huge year, that really excites me. I do see DeAndre Swift and Hawk thriving under Lynn. On paper, I think it makes as a great hire as our next OC. Now regarding Glenn, he had interest from other teams as well, and the Saints just tied for the league lead in interceptions last season with 18, and his defensive backs recorded 9 interceptions, 3 sacks, 6 forced fumbles, and 7 fumble recoveries. By all accounts, he's a solid hire, but let's not kid ourselves. He'll have a lot of work to do in turning around one of the worst defenses in NFL history.
Johnny, my biggest issue is this franchise continues to give these jobs to unproven commodities with little to no experience. From the GM side, we've seen Matt Millen, Martin Mayhew, Boob Quinn, and now Brad Holmes. And from the coaching end, Rod Marinelli, Jim Shorts, Matt Pooptrisha, and now Dan Campbell. Sheila Fordham and Rod Wood even said they were looking for candidates with proven track records and experience, but that mostly was not the end result. Maybe it'll work out, maybe it won't, but I was looking for some hires with more experience.
Yeah, Candy, but you have to take chances sometimes. Vince Lombardi, Bill Walsh, and to a lesser extent Wayne Fonts aren't walking through that door, buddy old pal. The interview process was thorough, and although the Lions don't deserve the benefit of the doubt, I am gonna let this thing play itself out. This roster, especially on the defensive side of the ball, is absolutely horrendous, so it'll be on Brad Holmes, who is known as a great college talent evaluator, to hit on his draft picks, starting in this April's NFL Draft.
With the acquisition of Jared Goff, can the Lions still select a QB in the NFL Draft?
We touched on this a little bit previously, and absolutely, if they find one that they like. I don't think the Goff acquisition should shy the Pussycats away from any QB in the draft, especially should a Justin Fields or Trey Lance fall to them. Guys, you don't stop firing away at QBs until you are 100% convinced you have a franchise quarterback. Without one, you are as good as dead. I get Goff makes a lot of money, but if Goff falters early and you have a young gunslinger waiting in the wings, you can simply place Goff on the pine and put in the young kid.
Here's the problem, Johnny. The Lions have so many issues, especially on the defensive side of the ball. They need to address them pronto. And if they let Kenny Galladay and Marvin Jones walk, then they need more wide receiver talent as well. I'm looking at you, Jalen Waddle. I have no interest in tying up $49 million of guaranteed money and a first-round draft pick on 2 different quarterbacks.
Well, I do, Candy, and if they really like a QB at 7, they take him. Again, you fire away at the quarterback position until you have it locked up. My guess is they'll probably take Waddle or some defensive help at 7, but I wouldn't rule out a QB, and neither should the Lions.
Guys, simply put, how good of a destination is Los Angeles for Matthew Stafford?
It's not a good destination, it's a great destination, Herb. And I'm not even talking about the absolutely perfect weather Matthew, his lovely wife Kelly, and their 4 children are walking into, but I'm sure Kelly will remind us of it on Twitter every day. A good, young, innovative head coach, a good running game, good wide receivers in Cooper Kupp and Robert Woods, and a good defense. Yeah, if this guy can't win in La La Land, then I don't know what the hell to tell you. As Stafford and Sean McVay are currently seen sipping down pina coladas and jerking each other off in Cabo, one can't help but to think anything short of a Super Bowl will be a disappointment for the Lambs, especially for what they had to give up to acquire Matthew Stafford.
Yeah, Johnny, I'm gonna have to sadly agree with you on this one. Get this. Since McVay took over as head coach in 2017, no team has ran play action more than the Rams. During that time, Stafford ranks 3rd in the NFL in expected points added per attempt, 10th in passer rating, and 12th in on-target throw percentage on play-action passes among 30 qualified quarterbacks. He's got the coaching, and he's got the horses around him to win the NFC West, and to not only win one playoff game, but multiple playoff games. No more excuses, Matthew Stafford!
We are going to take a quick commercial break, so please do not go anywhere, because when we come back, we have an exclusive interview with new Detroit Lions head coach Dan Campbell. We'll see you on the flip side of the 60-second timeout. The IRS finally caught up with Harold.
Yeah, shit. I hadn't paid my taxes in over 23 years. I owe the IRS over $330,000. I tried to make my payments.
The IRS wasn't satisfied with Harold's efforts, so they came after him full fucking force.
Oh, man. They were gonna take my house, put a lien on my bank account, rape me in the ass, garnish my pay, steal the beer out of my fridge, spank my wife. They just don't care. I didn't know what the hell to do.
Then Harold called DSE Tax Relief.
When DSC Tax Relief got involved, the rape threat stopped. The murder threat stopped. It was easy like, 1, 2, 3.
DSC Tax Relief is A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, and their team of expert tax professionals took care of Harold's problem.
I owed $330,000, and now my debt is clean. I still have my ass, my family. Well, not my wife anymore, she just left me. But, I don't owe anything.
Take Harold's advice.
If you have a tax problem, you need to call DSC Tax Relief, not tomorrow, not yesterday. You need to call them right now.
Call DSC Tax Relief now for a free consultation. Call 1-800-DSC Tax Relief. That's 1-800-DSC Tax Relief. The DSC Tax Relief will get the IRS off your ass in no time.
Many restrictions apply. For details, visit dsctaxrelief.com.
Welcome back to Detroit Sports Extreme. Here again is the voice of Detroit Sports, Johnny Bakerstone. DSE phone interview. Well, this is surely a treat and an honor. Joining us for our first ever interview here at DSE is new Detroit Lions head coach Dan Campbell. Coach, welcome to the show, and thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, man. Johnny, wow. Thank you so much. First time, long time, I guess. This is exciting. What do you got?
Well, before we get into it, obviously big news over the weekend broke that Matthew Stafford has been traded for a pair of first-round draft picks and the services of Jared Goff, who struggled mightily last year. Can you kind of talk about how Goff is going to fit into the system? Is he a long-term answer?
Well, the good thing is Goff is a brand new guy, right? So he's going to come in. He's going to be a little bit blank face. He's going to be a little bit new. But the good news for him is that everything going on here is completely brand new. It's a completely zero to 100. We got nobody knows who actually works in the building, which is incredible. I mean, he's going to come in. He's going to feel at home because no one knows who actually works here.
Okay, that's very interesting. Could you talk to us about the interview process with Sheila Ford Hamp and Rod Wood? It doesn't really look like any other NFL team was really interested in your services, but the Lions were very serious, it seemed, to bring you in. So can you kind of go over that process with us?
Well, I'll be honest with you. We had a few drinks one of the other nights, and I don't know who it was. Rod Wood was there, and, a lot of us were drinking, and we were talking. They were like, what would it be like if you coach the team? And I'll be honest with you, I never really thought about it. I know I get fired up, and everybody likes when Coach Campbell gets his fired up on. But no one really considered me. But when we got around drinking, things get loose, things get wild, and sometimes people sign their names on dotted lines.
Well, there's not a day that goes by that I'm not working with a PBR in my hand, so I can certainly relate. Candy has a question for you. Candy.
Coach, Candy Copperfield here. I've been a longtime fan ever since your playing days at Texas A&M. Go Aggies, baby.
Go Aggies.
Go Aggies, yeah. Can you discuss the culture change you're going to attempt to implement here in Detroit? Your coaching style is a complete 180 compared to that of Matt Poop Tricia. Could you talk about that?
Well, yeah, I think coming in, a lot of what people were worried about was that I wasn't going to be vocal, I wasn't going to care, I wasn't going to have emotion. I'll tell you what, coming into this, I'm extremely emotional. I'm extremely dramatic. I will tell you what, no matter what, win or lose, we're going to come out of that game with blood on our knees, blood on our faces, blood on our fingers.
And your kneecaps, right?
We're going to eat some kneecaps. We're going to bite.
Yeah, okay, gotcha.
Mouth guards are not encouraged. We're going to bite. We're going to fight. We're going to live. We're going to die.
Well, that's we certainly love the fire, and we haven't seen a lot of that with a lot of the coaches that we've had here, Coach. What do you say to the Lions fans that say you have almost no head coaching experience? Of course, excluding that brief stint in Miami. But what do you say to those Lions fans that say you have almost no head coaching experience to speak of? What do you say to them?
Well, I think when people wonder about experience, all I have to say is, do you think all those serial killers out there all throughout the years, did they have experience? Did they need a resume to go in and kill, to eat, to murder, to maim? I mean, this is what we're here for. We are coming in, we spot a prey, we come in, we stalk, we curse, we kill, we murder, everything. This is what we do. I don't need no resume to murder.
Coach, can you talk about the staff that you've assembled here in Detroit? You recently brought in former Chargers head coach Anthony Lynn, of course, to become the next offensive coordinator. Aaron Glenn is the next defensive coordinator. Why don't you talk a little bit about them for us? What do you think about them?
Well, Anthony Lynn, obviously, he's one of the best. He's been doing it for years. The guy's a class act head coach. I think that says a lot for what we're trying to do here in Detroit. We're trying to rebuild the culture. And I'll tell you what, Anthony Lynn, the guy's got a reputation for eating skin, eating blood, might be a cannibal, and that's all I need to know about that.
Okay, a couple more questions, Coach. We know you're on a time crunch. You're taking over the reins.
We're trying to work here.
I know you're trying to, and that's kind of what I'm getting into. You're taking over the reins here of a franchise that has not won a division title since 1993 and has only one playoff victory since 1958. So what are you going to do to try to change that?
Well, obviously, it's reversing the culture. At a certain point, you hire so many people, things are not about the X's and O's. It's about the circles and toes, right? So we got to change everything from the ground up. We can't just be this football franchise that expects everything to be changed overnight with one person. No. We got to change everything. I'm talking about we're painting the building. We're going to make everyone change what they dress in. We're going to make everyone change their diet, their habits, their lies, their facts. Everything's going to change. And at the end of the day, if you are not down with blood, well, you're not down with me.
Well, Ken and I are down. We're excited about the hire. We welcome you here to Detroit. Before we let you go, Coach, is there any final words that you'd like to leave Lions fans with before we let you go? Anything that maybe we don't know about you, or any final words that you'd like to leave Lions fans with here on DSE?
I will say this. I do take steroids, that's true. Doesn't really matter because I'm not an athlete anymore.
Well, you're a pretty big guy, so I can see it.
Yeah, I just admit it. I take steroids to buff up my look.
Well, I'm sure that's really going to intimidate Aaron Rodgers on Sunday, Coach.
Yeah, that doesn't matter. Anyway, secondary, I love my mom. I've never lied to her.
Well, Coach Campbell, thanks again so much for joining us here on DSC, and we look forward to talking to you all season long. Of course, you have a long process to get ready for the draft. We thank you again for joining us.
Well, I'll tell you this, Johnny, always a pleasure to be on DSC. Love you guys. Look forward to meeting you guys throughout the season. And listen, everyone in Detroit, If you're not down for the sickness, get the fuck out, because it's going to be bloody. Good night.
Good night, Coach. We'll talk again soon.
Okay, fuck you.
Wow, that Dan Campbell certainly is one interesting creature, and we look forward to talking to him all season long here on DSE. Okay, let's move on. The Motown Lowdown. Detroit Pistons. The Pistons have lost 2 games in a row and 7 of their last 9, and currently own the NBA's worst record at 5-16. Despite the blood pressure of Dwayne Casey rising by the game, this is obviously a good thing, as a top 3 pick in November's NBA draft is vital for the long-term success of a franchise that has not won a playoff game since 2008. There is a significant amount of buzz around the NBA regarding the talent in this draft, and the more losses the Pistons pile up, the better odds they get at the first overall selection, who as of right now, Oklahoma State guard Cade Cunningham. Regarding the current Pistons roster, excluding a few players, it has been a hot mess. Lottery pick point guard Killian Hayes has only played 7 games because of a hip injury, and when he was out there, he was only averaging 4 points and 3 assists per contest. I'm obviously not giving up on him, but he seemed timid, turned the ball over way too much, and was shooting only 27% from the field and 25% from deep. He obviously won't get any better on the bench though, and is still expected to miss 6 more weeks. Yamahama! Piling on the Motor City Blues is the fact that Blake Griffin is a shell of his former self and is putting up career-low numbers across the board. Guys, he will almost be impossible to trade at this point. I'm also starting to have doubts that the Pistons will be able to move Derrick Rose for a first-round draft pick. But hopefully, a desperate point guard needy team calls Troy Weaver close to the trade deadline. One of the lone bright spots has been Jeremy Grant. I second-guessed the 3-year, $60 million signing at the time, but Grant appears to be worth every penny and is in the running for the league's Most Improved Player award. He's averaging 23.7 points per game, almost 12 more than last season, and 5.8 rebounds, and is shooting 48% from the field and 39% from deep. He is leaps and bounds the best player on the Pistons roster. They play hard, but the Pistonians might just be the worst team in the NBA from top to bottom. But here's to hoping they get lucky in the lottery, for once, which would vastly accelerate the rebuild process. Detroit Red Wings. Joining the Pistons in the toilet are the Dead Things, who have lost 7 games in a row and at 6 points and a 2-7-2 record are the second worst team in the NHL. God, our teams suck. They do have a lot of young promising talent emerging in Grand Rapids, however, and might start calling the youngsters up. Guys, the veterans are not getting the job done. As the season continues to take a crapper, expect to see more and more of the young faces. I'm still staying the course with Steve Yzerman, but it is definitely going to take some time. Detroit Tigers. News is light on the baseball end, but the Tigers did just sign catcher Wilson Ramos to a 1-year, $2 million deal. He's an aging veteran at 33 years old, but just as recently as the 2019 season, Ramos hit .288 with 14 home runs and 73 RBIs. It's a low-risk, high-reward signing, and although the team will struggle mightily to pile up wins this summer, I like it. We'll keep a closer eye on the Kitties as the winter meetings approach and spring training draws closer. Michigan State basketball. Say it ain't so, Tom Izzo. His Spartans are 8-7 and 13th in the Big Ten as Izzo is in danger of missing his first NCAA tournament since Leonardo DiCaprio was hitting icebergs in 1997. With all of the COVID nonsense going on right now, a lot of big-name programs are having issues. Duke, North Carolina, and Kentucky to name a few, so I take this season with a grain of salt.
Michigan basketball.
Number 4 Michigan is fresh off a 70-53 win at Purdue that occurred all the way back on January 22nd. Because of an Ann Arbor COVID outbreak, Michigan is on a 2-week pause and possibly longer, as their next game against Illinois on February 11th is in serious jeopardy. It's too bad, as the 13-1 Wolverines are currently projected to be a 1 seed in the NCAA tournament, and Juwan Howard continues to shine in his second year in the first chair. Let's not forget, he's welcoming the number 1 recruiting class to Ann Arbor this fall as well, according to 247 Sports. Let's hope the team can hit the hardwood again soon, because they have been one of the only bright spots in this city this year.
Extreme expressions.
As with every show, we take 3 calls from you, the listeners. We start this segment off with the Ass Man.
Hey, Johnny. It's a sober ass man calling you in today. Just want to talk to you about that Stafford trade. Man, I actually kind of like it. They get a lot of draft capital. They trade away Stafford, who didn't want to be in Detroit. They get a bunch of first rounds. They get some third round, I believe it is. And they only have Goff for 2 years. If they don't like him, they get to release him without any cap hit on that after 2 years. Good move by the Lions. Not quite sure what the Rams are thinking, but hey, they may just need Stafford as maybe the missing piece. And all Goff needs is a change of scenery. Who knows? Looking forward to see what we do with these picks. I'm hoping they don't screw it up in typical Lions fashion, drafting no-name cornerbacks and things like that. Thanks, Johnny. Can't wait to see what the Lions do next year.
A sober-ass man is not nearly as fun as a drunk-ass man. I think the Rams thought Goff was holding them back and think Stafford can put them over the top, and we will find out very quickly whether it was a smart move for the Lambs. Okay, our next call should be an interesting one because it's coming from an absolute Stafford lover. It's Boats from the West Side.
Hey, Johnny. Boats from the West Side again. Hey, man. I've been through all of it, man. I've been through every stage of grievance. And Stafford's gone, man. I hate it. But you know what? We just got Jared Goff, 2 first-round picks, and a third-round pick for Stafford. I love Stafford, man. I don't want him to leave. But, you know, if you get Jared Goff, fucking pussy fingers on your team, and you get 2 first-round picks, what else you gonna do, man? I mean, shit, dude, that's the best you're gonna do.
Wow! Even Boats from the West Side, who's had a boner for Matthew Stafford ever since 2009, approves of the trade. Brad Holmes, if you're listening out there, if you had any doubts of this deal, worry no more, my man. Our last caller is one of our biggest Stafford critics. It's Coach.
Hey, Johnny. Coach here, on the road. You know, I've been thinking a lot about this whole number 9 leaving us and being gone. And you know what? I haven't lost a damn ounce of sleep because of it. And if you had, you're pathetic. You're a low self-esteem individual. The guy won nothing. What do we care if he leaves? He's won 0. Not a damn thing. Low self-esteem team, low self-esteem franchise, and my God, over under 29 games for this Dan Campbell creature. What the hell, Johnny? At least you got content.
Oh, thanks for the call, Coach. I am not gonna hate on the Campbell hire just yet, my man. I think the bigger issue is what Brad Holmes plans to do with this putrid roster, and it needs to start this offseason and during the draft process. What wide receivers will Jared Goff throw to, and what will this defense look like? The roster needs immediate attention. Special thanks goes to the Ass Man, Boats from the West Side, and Coach. If you'd like to call into the show, simply message the Detroit Sports Extreme Facebook page for a chance to be heard on next week's show. That will conclude this edition of DSE. Thanks for listening. A couple of programming and show reminders. We will be unveiling both a brand new website and our big game preview show. Yes, you know what big game I'm talking about. This Saturday, so stay tuned for both. We will talk Tom. We will talk Mahomes. We'll talk about some fun bets to place, our predictions, and much more. We'll see you this weekend, Detroit. Cheers!